Picture this: you're at the beach, meat pie in hand, laptop sitting closed on the table beside you. Back at the office, or what used to be your office, an AI agent is handling every single task your boss believes you're personally grinding through right now. That's not laziness, that's leverage, and it's the most underrated career move you can make in 2026. The conversation about AI and employment has been dominated by fear. Is it going to take my job? Am I about to get replaced? Those are the wrong questions. The right one, the one that separates the workers who'll thrive from the ones who'll get left behind, is this: can you use AI to perform your role at a level that would be impossible to match without it? Right now, quietly, inside companies all over the world, a new type of worker is emerging. Not robots replacing humans, something far more interesting than that. People who have figured out how to run an AI agent alongside their own work, multiplying their output while cutting their stress close to zero. Some are calling this being a secret cyborg. Today, we're going to show you exactly what that means, what tools are involved, and how the whole stack actually works. Let's get into it. To understand why the secret cyborg strategy is working right now, you need to understand what AI agents actually are in 2026, because they are genuinely different from the chatbots that were making headlines a couple of years ago. Early AI tools were essentially fancy autocomplete. You asked a question, you got an answer, and then you asked another. Useful, but not autonomous. What's changed is the change toward agentic systems, AI that can plan a multi-step task, execute each step in sequence, check its own output, and loop back to fix issues, all without you holding its hand through every step. The infrastructure to build these agents is now accessible to anyone who wants to try. A developer putting together their first agent today has access to Claude, GPT-4, and open-source models like QN and Llama that run locally on consumer hardware. Python frameworks like LangChain give you ready-made scaffolding. Web scraping libraries like Beautiful Soup pull live data from the internet on demand. Platforms like Slack and Notion have open APIs that let your agent push results into the tools your team already uses every day. The raw materials for becoming a secret cyborg have never been cheaper or more available. What used to take a team of engineers and a 6-month timeline can now be prototyped by a single determined developer over a long weekend. That change is what's making everything else possible right now. Let's break down the exact stack our secret cyborg is running, because this isn't theoretical. These are real tools executing real tasks and producing real results on a schedule without supervision. The first script is a research and content scraper. It hits RSS feeds, Reddit, and tech news APIs every few hours, pulls the most relevant stories for a given set of keywords, scores each one by engagement and recency, and saves the top results to a local JSON file. Total runtime, about 90 seconds. This is the task that used to consume an hour every single morning. The second script is the content generator. It reads that JSON file, passes each story through a Claude API call with a carefully crafted system prompt, and outputs a first draft of an SEO-optimized blog post for each one. The drafts aren't perfect off the line, they never are, but they are 80% of the way there. An editor can polish one in 10 minutes, instead of the 2 hours it would take to write from scratch. The third component is the Slack integration. A lightweight bot running on a cron schedule posts context-aware messages to the team channel every 2 hours. It signals activity, answers basic status questions with templated responses, and maintains a presence in the chat that a manager reads as engagement. Nobody questions it. Nobody questions the output, and that's entirely the point. Let's talk about what this looks like in actual numbers, because the performance metrics are where this gets genuinely hard to believe if you haven't seen it yourself. Before the agent stack was running, our secret cyborg was producing 3 to 4 blog posts per week. Writing, researching, SEO optimizing, submitting for review. That was the ceiling. A solid human output by any reasonable standard. Their manager described it as consistent. After deploying the stack, same person, same nominal hours, completely different output, the count jumped to 12 posts per week. The keywords were sharper. Internal linking was more consistent. The posts started ranking faster because the volume gave search algorithms more content to index and cross-reference. The Slack coverage metric went from sporadic to near perfect. The bot maintained presence during working hours. The human stepped in only when genuine judgment was required, complex questions, tone decisions, anything that needed real reading of a room. Performance review season arrived. Their manager's notes described them as one of the most productive and consistently engaged team members they'd managed in years. There was a raise. There were also 2 free afternoons a week, which the manager interpreted as a healthy work-life balance, rather than what it actually was, clear evidence that the machine was running the show and running it better than the manual version ever had. At this point, you might be thinking, isn't this dishonest? If your employer believes you're personally doing work that an AI agent is actually handling, aren't you misrepresenting your contribution? It's a fair question, and it deserves a direct answer rather than a deflection. Here's the honest case. Every worker in history has used tools to do their job more efficiently. The spreadsheet replaced the accountant doing arithmetic on paper. Email replaced the assistant writing physical letters. Automation replaced the factory worker pulling manual levers. Nobody called those workers dishonest for adopting better tools. The agent stack is the next generation of work tooling. The question isn't whether you personally typed every word, it's whether the output you're delivering is genuinely good. And if your AI-assisted output is consistently better than the manual version would have been, that's not a problem. That's you excelling at your job using every tool available. The comparison that actually matters isn't human versus machine. It's 2 employees, one running this stack and one who isn't. The one who has adopted it produces more, at higher quality, with lower error rates and less stress. They also have bandwidth left for the genuinely creative and strategic work that AI still handles poorly. The other keeps grinding at the same ceiling they've been hitting for years, wondering why the gap between them and top performers keeps widening. What does the rise of the secret cyborg mean for how companies function and for the broader workforce? The short-term picture looks like a productivity spike without a corresponding headcount increase. One person doing the work of 3 is excellent for a company's margins until the company starts doing the maths and realizes they may only need one of those 3 employees at all. That pressure is coming, and it's going to hit industries that rely on volume knowledge work first. Content production, marketing, basic legal research, financial reporting, anywhere a trained worker currently produces structured written output at scale. The longer-term implication is one most analysis misses entirely. As AI handles the repeatable, pattern-based parts of every knowledge job, the work that can't be automated becomes dramatically more valuable. Creative judgment, relationship building, ethical reasoning. The ability to read a situation that exists nowhere in any training dataset. Strategic thinking that synthesizes ambiguous, fast-changing information into a clear direction. These are areas where humans still don't have a software replacement, and the timeline on that is longer than most people assume. The workers who'll thrive aren't the ones who ignore AI, they'll fall behind quickly. And they're not the ones handing everything to AI without oversight either. They are the people using AI to clear their plate of repetitive work, so they can pour real energy into the parts of the job that genuinely require a human. Here's how to start building your own agent stack. You don't need a computer science degree. You need Python, an API key, and about a weekend of focused effort. Step 1. Identify the most repetitive, pattern-based task in your current job. The one where you could describe the process as take this input, apply this process, produce this output. Content research, data entry, report generation, email filtering, these are the natural starting points. Step 2. Set up a Python environment and install the libraries you'll need. For web scraping, Beautiful Soup and requests are the standard starting point. For AI-generated output, the Anthropic or OpenAI Python libraries give you direct API access to Claude and GPT-4 with genuinely just a few lines of code. For scheduling, a cron job on Linux or Windows Task Scheduler handles timed execution cleanly. Step 3. Write a careful prompt. The quality of your agent's output is almost entirely determined by the quality of your instruction. Write prompts like you're briefing a smart assistant who knows nothing about the context. Be specific. Give examples. Define what a good result looks like in explicit terms. Step 4. Run it, review the output, and iterate. The first version will have rough edges. Every first version does. The 5th version will be genuinely solid. The 10th will be better. than what you'd have written manually. This is the process every secret cyborg has gone through. You're not starting from zero. Here's what this means for you right now in 2026. The divide forming in the workforce isn't the one the headlines keep describing. It's not human versus AI. It's something far more specific. It's the people who have figured out how to operate as a human-AI hybrid, the secret cyborg, against the people still treating AI as a novelty they occasionally use for quick drafts or answering emails. The ghost versus the grind. One operates quietly and efficiently, using every available tool to maximize output while spending minimal time on the least interesting parts of the job. The other keeps grinding through the same manual processes, hitting the same ceiling, wondering when things are going to change. Here's the genuinely good news. You don't need to be a programmer to start. The tools are more accessible than they've ever been. The models are capable of far more than most people have tested. The gap between where you are right now and where the early adopters are sitting is smaller than it looks, and it's closable in weeks, not years. Before you open your inbox tomorrow morning, ask yourself one question. Are you working for your job, or is your AI working for you? If the answer is still the first one, that's your signal to change it. Follow the channel for daily AI headlines. The next one's already in the pipeline. Cheers.